He once swore he'd expose every secret Jeffrey Epstein kept hidden. He promised the world that no name would stay buried, no file sealed, no predator protected. But now, over 200 days into his reign as FBI director, the man who once demanded full transparency stands accused of guarding the very secrets he vowed to unveil. The irony? It unfolded live, under oath, before a stunned Congress where the man who cried cover-up now defended the very system he once condemned. It started with one question that sliced through the air like a blade. Director Patel, why haven't you released Epstein's black book?
Yields back. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale? Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
black book?
Black book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the black book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls?
The Rolodex, which is what everybody colloquially refers to as the Black Book, has been released.
Oh, no, you're talking about what the journalist got 5 years ago? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you were talking about there,
That's
the black
exactly
book
what I
under
was
the direct
talking.
control of the FBI director.
We have released more material than anyone else before. The Biden administration, Obama administration had the exact opportunities to release this material, and they never did. And if you are selling the men and women of the FBI,
Why
we're
have
not
you
going after
changed your
child
position?
predators. Hang on, you said we're not going after child predators. 1,500 child predators arrested this year, 35% increase,
I'll reclaim my time.
4,700 child victims
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to
found.
reclaim my time if you could instruct the witness. Why have you changed your position? There you were saying it's under the direct control of the FBI director and all of it should be released. Why have you changed your position?
Everything that has been lawfully permitted to be released has been released. And as I told you,
Really?
the investigation was limited. And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Well, wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents? What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to
Which
release.
court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said...
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works?
Wait.
Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own
curiosity?
word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the black book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control
Patel,
over.
complete your
and
sentence.
can
You said
lawfully
everything-
release.
The
We're
gentleman-
releasing.
He'd like to complete his answer.
You began the sentence, everything you have direct control over, and then you stopped that sentence. You've released everything that you have direct control over?
And I have direct control over and can lawfully release. If you're not familiar with the court orders, that's not my fault.
Oh, I'm
Go
perfectly,
look at them.
I'm perfectly
Go to
familiar
court.
with them. But how did we prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell?
She was prosecuted with the investigatory material that was collected from 2001 and 2005. Because of the non-prosecution agreements and the court orders on the investigations and search warrants, we were not able to develop new information. And oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years, and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine. But now you're blaming the men and women who conducted this great search.
Stop that. I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials under your direct control.
Has anyone released more information on Epstein than I have? Has anyone?
Much more.
Did Comey? Did Ray?
Much more.
Did they?
Excuse me. Much more has come out in the days since the American people and Congress have been demanding it. But it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you, there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're talking about.
That is not.
It is a tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen everything?
It's all misdirection.
How do you know
The time
that?
of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from California.
What came next wasn't just a political clash, it was a collision between moral conviction and legal reality, between the promise of truth and the machinery built to bury it. Back in 2023, before he ever wore the FBI badge, Patel was the loudest critic of the Bureau's handling of the Epstein investigation. He accused it of shielding the world's most powerful men. He went on air red-faced, pounding his fist on the table, saying, "They're sitting on it. They're protecting the world's foremost predator." At that time he spoke like a man possessed by righteousness. He mocked the Bureau for hiding Epstein's client list and challenged Congress to put on your big boy pants and let us know who the predators are. His words went viral. Millions cheered him as a hero who would finally lift the curtain. But that was then. Fast forward to this hearing, he's no longer the crusader shouting from the outside. He's the director now, sitting behind a microphone, armed with the very authority he once accused of corruption. Congressman Jamie Raskin plays Patel's own clip, letting the echo of his past words fill the room. The tension is electric. Raskin leans forward and says, "You said the FBI director had direct control over Epstein's black book. You are that director now. So where is it?" For a moment Patel freezes. The man who once promised fire and light now looks like someone holding back a storm. Then carefully he says, "Everything that has been lawfully permitted to be released has been released." Raskin's eyebrows shoot up, the tone in the room shifts. Gone is the language of moral outrage. In its place, legality, caution, and procedure. Raskin presses harder, "No, director. I'm not talking about what journalists had 5 years ago. I'm talking about what you said was under your direct control, the evidence, the names, the files, the records. Have you released it?" Patel repeats his line like a shield, "Everything we can lawfully release has been released." And that's when Raskin goes in for the kill. "So you've changed your position." This is where the air in the hearing turns heavy. What's playing out isn't just a political grilling, it's a moral reckoning. The man who once demanded full disclosure now hides behind the phrase "lawfully permitted." Raskin knows it, the public watching knows it, and Patel knows that every word he says is being dissected by millions. But to understand why this moment mattered, you need to know what lies beneath it. The web of legal restrictions, decades-old agreements, and investigative boundaries that keep the Epstein files sealed away. See, when Patel took over, he didn't inherit a clean slate. He inherited a legal labyrinth. The original Epstein investigations, dating back to 2006 and 2008, were shaped by non-prosecution agreements and limited search warrants. Those decisions, made long before Patel ever set foot in the Bureau, locked away key evidence and shielded powerful figures through layers of court orders. In other words, the game was rigged before he ever sat down to play. That's what Patel means when he says, "Everything lawfully releasable has been released." It's technically true, but Raskin's point is sharper. Morality isn't about what's legal, it's about what's right. Raskin's fury builds because this isn't just about files or folders. It's about promises. When Patel told America that the director had direct control of Epstein's black book, he wasn't speaking like a lawyer, he was speaking like a man of justice. He made people believe that one signature, his signature, could unlock the truth. And now that he's in that seat, that promise feels hollow. The congressman doesn't let him escape. He asks about the computers, the financial records, the seized evidence, anything that could name those involved in Epstein's network. Have you released all of that? Raskin asks. Patel stays calm but firm. Everything the court has allowed us to release, and that's when the moral conflict hits its peak. Raskin fires back. Which court? What are you talking about? 3 federal courts have said nothing stops the FBI from releasing what it already has. Patel's voice rises for the first time. Do you want me to break the law? Do you want me to violate a federal order? Silence. The hearing stalls for a moment. Everyone can feel the clash between two truths, one moral, one legal. On one side, Raskin represents the voice of the public, demanding full transparency, full exposure. The victims deserve answers. The public deserves accountability. On the other, Patel represents the machinery of the system, bound by court orders, legal precedent, and institutional caution. It's a haunting image, the man who once shouted "release the files" now defending the same walls he once condemned. But here's the uncomfortable reality that almost no one wants to admit: Patel isn't wrong. Decades of legal maneuvering have turned the Epstein investigation into a minefield. Non-prosecution agreements signed in the early 2000s effectively tied the Bureau's hands. Search warrants were narrowly written, investigations limited in scope, and judges sealed vast amounts of evidence to protect ongoing investigations and preserve victim privacy. The problem is, those investigations ended long ago, yet the walls remain. Raskin knows this, but he also knows optics matter more than technicalities. The public doesn't want to hear about court orders, they want to hear names. And so when Patel hides behind legality, it feels like betrayal, even if it's legally correct. That's what makes this hearing so powerful. It's not just about Epstein's files, it's about what happens when moral certainty collides with legal reality. Raskin's outrage is emotional, human, visceral. Patel's defense is calculated, institutional, and cold. The clash reveals something deeper: how systems protect themselves, even from the truth. Raskin presses again. You said before that this was under your direct control. You said the director had the authority, so why haven't you used it? Patel begins, everything I have direct control over we have gone to court, and Raskin cuts him off. Finish your sentence. The tension is brutal. Patel hesitates, then finishes, and everything I have direct control over we have gone to court to release. That's the key phrase. He claims they've gone to court, but he doesn't say what happened next. Did they win? Did they lose? Did they even push as hard as they could? That's what Raskin is getting at. Saying you went to court isn't the same as fighting to the end. This is where the hearing transforms from a clash of words into a test of credibility. If Patel truly fought to unseal those records, where's the proof? Where are the filings, the motions, the petitions? Because if there aren't any, it means the system isn't even trying. That's when Patel shifts the blame. He reminds the room that the Obama and Biden administrations did nothing for 12 years while Epstein walked free. He says, you want to blame me, that's fine, but you're blaming the men and women who conducted this investigation. It's a defensive move. Human, maybe, but telling. Instead of addressing his promise, he points backward. Instead of moral leadership, he hides behind legacy. And that's when Raskin delivers the knockout line: you're not keeping your word. Those 5 words cut through all the legalese and procedural talk. They expose what this hearing is really about: trust. Can the public trust institutions that always seem to find reasons not to tell the truth? Because at its core, this isn't about one black book or one list, it's about whether power ever holds itself accountable. Here's the thing most viewers miss: transparency isn't a single act, it's a process. It's petitions, court motions, appeals, challenges. And yet from the outside, the public sees only one thing: files still sealed, names still hidden, truth still trapped in bureaucratic chains. Patel insists that multiple federal court orders prevent him from releasing more. Maybe that's true. But Raskin's counterpoint is devastatingly simple: if those orders exist, why aren't you showing the public that you're fighting to lift them? Why isn't there visible proof of the struggle? That's why this hearing resonates beyond politics. It's about moral accountability. When leaders promise radical transparency, but deliver procedural excuses, they erode something fundamental: belief in justice. And the people watching from home, the victims, the survivors, the ordinary citizens, don't speak in the language of federal orders or legal precedent. They speak in the language of fairness. They hear Patel's careful words and feel something cold, disappointment. Because they remember the fire in his voice when he wasn't in power, they remember the passion when he said, "We'll expose everyone." They remember believing him, and now, watching him behind that desk, they wonder, was it all just talk? Raskin's questioning forces us to confront that disillusionment head-on. When moral certainty meets institutional reality, which one survives? By the end of the hearing, the exchange has evolved from an argument into a lesson. Patel's transformation, from outsider to insider, from critic to defender, becomes symbolic of a broader truth about power. It changes people, it absorbs them. The same walls you promised to tear down become the walls that protect you once you're inside. So what do we take away from this? First, transparency isn't just about releasing files, it's about demonstrating effort. If Patel truly went to court, show the filings, show the fight. Let the public see that the Bureau is doing everything within its power. Second, legality and morality are not the same thing. Doing what's lawfully permitted isn't always the same as doing what's right. The public deserves both. Third, accountability is not a speech, it's action. When someone promises the truth, they owe the people proof that they tried to deliver it. Because what this hearing really revealed wasn't just about Epstein, it was about the DNA of power itself. Systems built to protect justice often end up protecting themselves, and that's why this exchange matters. It forces us to ask the uncomfortable question: when leaders gain access to the secrets they once condemned, do they really want them exposed anymore? As the hearing ends, Patel leans back, exhausted. Raskin's face is stern, unflinching. The gavel falls, but the silence that follows speaks louder than any closing statement. It's the sound of a promise undone, of justice still waiting in the shadows. Because in the end, the real question isn't whether Patel broke the law, it's whether he broke the trust. If you believe that transparency still matters, that promises to victims and the public should mean something, share this story. Keep the pressure alive. Because history shows that silence protects the powerful, and only public demand can break it. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video to keep these hearings in the spotlight. Your voice is the only thing that turns accountability from talk into truth.